Welcome everyone, my name is Andrea Forsythe, and today's lecture is on perception. So the big idea of perception is how you take things in. It may be what you see, what you hear, or just different types of, if you weren't in the room and you hear someone, it doesn't have to be witnessed immediately, but it's how you take in the information. And it's more of a, well, this person said I like the color blue. Well, there's a lot of blues, right? I mean, there's more than one type of blue. I like this type of chair. Well, there's a lot of type of chairs. Why do you like this chair? Because it's rolly, because you are able to sit back and relax. Perception is just taken differently from each person. There are three interrelated processes, which is selection, organization, cognitive schemata, and interpretation. Well, the cognitive schemata is interrelated with organization, and I'll go into it in a little bit. Okay, so selection is what stands out the most. So it can be a person who's tall, short, blonde hair, black hair, curly hair. Makes you focus on that type of feature, whether it be their height, their weight, the color of their hair, or the way they speak, the way they present themselves. You focus on the importance of that person or that feature, and then you stay alert, and then you just stay focused on whatever you're trying to, what you're trying to perceive. So once you get all that information, then you start to organize it. The 4 developments is to help with organization. Perception is known as cognitive schemata. So there's prototypes, personal constructs, stereotypes, and scripts. So prototypes are more of, this person, I've had a best friend since elementary school, and her characteristics are trustworthy, dependable, nice, loving, caring, right? And then when you meet someone, you kind of hope that, they kind of set that standard. And then you kind of hope that they either have that or are very similar to that person. You also build a personal construct. So if you had a great teacher, you know that they are, their presence made a difference in your lives. The way they taught, they set the standard of what they taught and how you took it in. Stereotypes, it's not always bad, but you kind of, for example, we are in the military. Soldiers, what's the stereotype? Fit, dependable, they live within the Army values. They are someone that civilians can trust. We work with them all around. And then scripts. When you meet someone, an example is, hi, how are you? Their response is, I'm fine, how are you? When you go on a date, you start talking about interests, dislikes, something to keep that conversation going. Something that will keep that conversation interested. And sometimes the scripts are not always made. Yes?
So prototypes, is that kind of the reason why they say that you look for someone like to marry as like your parents kind of set the prototype for
Correct, because you already see those characteristics that you like, that stand out to you, and then you kind of look for that already. Okay? Then you have interpretation. So after you have all that information, you interpret it the way you want to. Okay? Now it may not always be correct or incorrect. Again, it's what you think. Whatever information that you took in is how you take it, okay? Now, if you share it with someone else, their opinions are not always going to match yours, okay? So you're just generating a justification of what was witnessed. For example, if I am talking to my husband and we're laughing and giggling, right? What is your interpretation? Flirtation, right? Because I am laughing and giggling with my husband, okay? The attributions are more of, Miss Forsythe and Mr. Forsythe are a married couple. So flirting is okay, right? And then self-serving bias. These two people, married couple, yes, they have that right to do so. This is what a couple looks like. This is what a married couple looks like. And that's what your self-serving bias is as a married couple. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm just saying for you to see the two people who have wedding rings, who are talking, flirting, that's what a married couple is. You know, they share that intimacy between the two of them. Any questions? Okay. So there are many influences that can affect your perception, all right? Emotional and physiological factors factors in on perception. So in a stressful environment, someone talking to me while I'm trying to decide what's going on, I can snap at them. Not meaning to, but it happens, you know, because you're under pressure. If I'm not feeling well, if I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling sick, that can also affect how I perceive certain things and how people address me. Expectations set by myself or others. So if someone says, hey, this person is a prior service member, so then how I perceive it is, well, if they're prior service, they have discipline. They know the rules for, they know the standards of being in the military, whether it was from a different branch, and I expect them to show that type of work ethic in my clinic, okay? Or others say, hey, you know, I've worked with her, she has great work ethic. Now, I expect that person to have that standard. Now, does it always meet that standard? Not all the time, because some people build others, or sometimes they don't build them up as much, okay? And then our way of thinking, social roles in communities, how you were brought up, backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, there's a very big influence on that. For example, I'm Latina, and growing up, discipline was very, very, very big in our home, and it's not a lot in other people's home. And I'm only speaking about myself, okay? Social roles, we're probably low middle class, and communities, we weren't very tight, but we had family. So tips to avoid confusion, no assumptions, okay? Don't assume anything. Ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Confront the person, not in a hostile way, but as a, hey, what did you mean by this? Do not be quick to judge what is being said or being seen. Before you jump to conclusions, you want to clarify that, okay? And then observe what is going on around you. Just take it in visually, and then later on process it, okay? Online, we have social media, and we have events, issues, and different people on there. So whatever their personalities, it'll help you perceive them, who they are, with what they post. So in conclusion, we went over definition of perception, the three interrelated processes, which is selection, organization, interpretation, what influences perception, the tips to help avoid the confusion of the perception, and other related means of perception such as social media. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a good night.